Hello there, Star Wars fans. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you for tuning in to your favorite intergalactic frequency. Who is General Grievous? To many Star Wars fans, he's a terrifying Jedi killer, a coughing cybernetic monster with 4 lightsabers and no mercy. But beneath the armor, behind the glowing yellow eyes, lies a very different story. General Grievous was not born a monster, he was made into one. Carefully, cruelly, deliberately. In this video, we're breaking down the creation of General Grievous, how a proud warrior was manipulated, mutilated, and transformed into the ultimate weapon of the Sith. His story isn't just a tragedy, it's a blueprint of how the dark side achieves victory through any means necessary. Before he became the infamous supreme commander of the Separatist droid army, Grievous was a living being named Qymaen Sheelal, a fierce and respected warrior of the Kaleesh species. He led his people in the brutal Huck War, gaining a reputation for tactical genius and brutal efficiency, but it was his partnership with the intergalactic banking clan that sealed his fate. The banking clan, and more importantly Sand Hill, saw in Grievous the potential for a war leader who could inspire fear in a way no emotionless droid ever could. But Sidious and Dooku had something else in mind. They didn't just want a warrior, they wanted a weapon, one that could shape, control, and eventually discard. The information began with a so-called accident. Poor Grievous, Dooku thought, pitiful creature. A shuttle crash, carefully orchestrated by Sand Hill, left Grievous near death. But it was all part of the plan. What if Grievous should actually die in the crash? Hill had asked. Dooku replied coldly, and the Separatists would simply have to look elsewhere. Grievous's survival was never guaranteed, but he did survive, barely. And the worst injuries he suffered weren't from the crash itself. They were inflicted after he was pulled from the wreckage. This wasn't medical aid, it was mutilation disguised as salvation. When Grievous agreed to be rebuilt, promises were made. No critical alterations to his mind, no changes to his identity. But the Geonosians lied. They had ways of modifying the mind without the patient ever knowing. Grievous believed he had always been a ruthless conqueror, but in truth, his rage, his merciless nature, and his obsession with killing Jedi were engineered. His body was transformed into a walking weapon. Every piece added was designed to be lethal and effective against all who stood in his way. His mind was poisoned with hate. What remained was a shell, a tool, and that's exactly how the Sith wanted it. Count Dooku didn't just build Grievous, he trained him. Grievous had been a delight to train. Unlike the failed Dark Jedi Dooku had tried to mold before, Grievous needed no coaxing, no guidance. The Geonosians had made sure he was nothing but anger and rage. Lightsaber forms, dueling tactics, the way of the Jedi, Grievous absorbed it all. And in training sessions, he was so powerful, so aggressive, that even Dooku struggled to hold his own. But Dooku, ever the schemer, kept secrets, just in case, because he knew what Grievous didn't. This was never going to end well for him. Grievous's creation reveals something fundamental about the Sith. The essence of the dark side lay in a willingness to use any means possible to arrive at a desired end.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Grievous wasn't a person to them. He was a device, a project, a monster made to terrify Jedi and command droid armies so Dooku wouldn't have to deal with bureaucrats like Nute Gunray. He was useful, that's all. This is the heart of Sith philosophy. Sacrifice anything, even your own followers, to achieve control. Sidious didn't care about Grievous's pain. Dooku didn't care about his past. All that mattered was that he served the plan. And what happens to tools when they're no longer useful? They're thrown away. Grievous was never meant to survive the Clone Wars. He was a phase, a piece of the larger game. The Sith's grand plan didn't end with Grievous or Dooku. It ended with Sidious ruling the galaxy. Grievous would never be a Sith. He would never be free. And one day, on the planet Utapau, Obi-Wan Kenobi would end his life with a blaster, fitting for a man who was more machine than man. So what is Grievous's legacy? He was terrifying, deadly, a brilliant tactician, and a symbol of the Clone Wars. But more than that, he was a mirror of the Sith, their cruelty, their manipulation, and their obsession with power at all costs. He shows us that evil doesn't always scream. Sometimes it smiles and makes promises. Sometimes it saves your life, so it can own it. Grievous never had a chance. He was doomed the moment the Sith set their sights on him. And in that, he may be one of the most tragic characters in all of Star Wars. The information in this video stems from a passage about Grievous's construction from Dooku's point of view in the Legends novel Labyrinth of Evil, which takes place right before the events in Episode 3. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown of General Grievous's origin and transformation, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Do you think Grievous was a victim? What do you think of his origin? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, in the galaxy far, far away, the darkness doesn't scream, it whispers.